Have you ever looked at an image, something really ancient, and just felt like it was speaking a language older than words? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring today. We're looking at this single, powerful figure that, believe it or not, holds a mirror up to our own minds.
So, here he is. This is the Hierophant from the Tarot. You can see he's this powerful spiritual guide, a keeper of tradition. He's sitting there between these two massive pillars. One represents law, the other, our beliefs. And look at his hand. It's raised in that classic sign of blessing, acting like a bridge between the spiritual world and our everyday lives. Oh, and you can't miss those crossed keys at his feet. That's a huge clue. They're telling us he holds the power to unlock some serious hidden knowledge.
But here's the big question, right? Is this just a picture on a card, or could it be something more? What if it's actually a map to a fundamental part of our own minds, a deep universal pattern that kind of shapes how we learn, who we decide to follow, and even the beliefs we hold so close? That's the idea we're going to unpack.
All right, so first things first, let's look at the Hierophant for what he is on the surface, as this powerful symbol of tradition and all those big institutions. You know, in a tarot reading, this card usually points towards tradition and shared beliefs. It's really all about the power that comes from joining a group. And that could be anything, a church, a university, even your favorite online community. It's about tapping into that group's collective wisdom. The Hierophant is that teacher, that mentor, that guide who connects us to something way bigger than just ourselves.
Okay, let's go back to those keys for a second, because they are so important. They aren't just for unlocking some pearly gates in the sky. Nope. They represent unlocking our own minds. You've got one key for the conscious world, facts, logic, stuff you can prove. But the other key? That's for the subconscious, the world of intuition, gut feelings, all that mysterious stuff. And the Hierophant? Well, he gets it. He knows that real wisdom comes from balancing both.
So why does this super old image still hit so hard? Why do we still feel it? Well, the answer isn't just in mysticism. It's actually deep in the world of psychology. And to really get it, we've got to talk about the brilliant Carl Jung. So, for a long time, the prevailing idea was tabula rasa, that we're all born as a complete blank slate. But Jung came along and said, no way. He had this totally revolutionary idea that we don't start from zero. He argued that we actually arrive preloaded with a kind of psychological operating system. And he called this operating system the collective unconscious. Think of it like a psychic cloud server that we all have access to from birth. It's this deep, shared reservoir of human experiences and memories passed down through generations. It's the reason why stories about love, death, or being a hero feel so familiar and powerful to all of us, no matter where or when we were born. And stored in that collective cloud, that's where you find the archetypes. These are the fundamental blueprints for our emotions and our behavior. We all know them: the hero, the mother, the trickster, and you guessed it, the Hierophant, the ultimate wise teacher and keeper of tradition. They're like these emotional circuits that we're all born with. But this is where it gets really, really interesting. These archetypes, they're not just simple one-note characters. No, just like any powerful force in nature, they have a light side, and they definitely have a shadow side.
And this duality is absolutely crucial to understand. In its positive form, the Hierophant is the amazing, wise mentor who builds community. But when that energy flips to its shadow side, it becomes a dogmatic tyrant. Suddenly, spiritual guidance turns into oppressive conformity. Valued mentorship becomes suffocating groupthink. I mean, we've all seen it, right? That horrible office culture where the answer to every new idea is, well, that's just not how we do things here. That, right there, is the Hierophant's shadow in action.
This quote just paints such a chilling picture of that danger. Artist E. Lubenko describes their version of the Hierophant with a mask that's slipping, revealing clawed and bloodied hands. Wow. It forces you to ask a really uncomfortable question. Are those hands being extended for a blessing or for control? Is the knowledge they're offering meant to free you or to bind you?
Okay, but let's swing the pendulum back to the light side, because it's just as powerful. This quote from Khalil Gibran just nails the positive potential of this archetype. A wise teacher leads you to the threshold of your own mind. It's beautiful, right? The best guides don't just hand you the answers. They show you where the door to your own wisdom is and give you the courage to open it yourself. And here's the cool part. Once you learn to recognize these archetypal patterns, you start seeing them everywhere. Seriously, you can't unsee them. They are the absolute bedrock of the stories we know and love. I mean, just think about it. Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird.
He's not just a lawyer, he's the father archetype, our moral compass. Rick from Casablanca, the classic cynical hero who does the right thing in the end. And Mr. Hyde, the perfect, terrifying embodiment of the shadow, that dark side we all try to hide. The reason these characters feel so real, so timeless, is because they plug directly into these ancient blueprints in our minds.
So this is all fascinating stuff, but what does it mean for you and me? How can we actually take the Hierophant's keys and use them to unlock something in our own lives?
Well, it really starts with asking yourself a few key questions. First, identify your mentors. Who are your Hierophants? Who are the teachers, the influencers, the people shaping how you see the world? Second, examine your traditions. What groups, what beliefs, what institutions are you a part of? And are they still working for you? And finally, the big one, align your actions with your beliefs. Are you just going through the motions, or are you living in a way that truly reflects what you value? That's the challenge.
And at the end of the day, that's the real lesson here. The true purpose of a healthy Hierophant archetype isn't to create a bunch of followers who can't think for themselves. It's to create independent, empowered individuals. A real guide doesn't make you dependent on them. They give you the tools, the knowledge, and then they get out of the way so you can become your own source of wisdom.
So the Hierophant offers you the keys to tradition, to knowledge, and yes, to the deepest parts of your own mind. It's about being a student, for sure, but it's also about recognizing the teacher inside of you. So the real question isn't whether you have these keys, we all do. The question is, now that they're in your hands, what are you going to unlock?